Hey all, I'm going to be talking about something pretty serious today, so I'm not even going to waste time with an intro or anything. Geometry Dash is a game that I've been playing for a long time. I've been a part of the community for a long time. And the fact that a lot of Geometry Dash players are, I don't just want to say weird, but like a specific kind of weird where like they're not very good at like social interaction or anything. It's not really because they play Geometry Dash, but like Geometry Dash, it's just a very grindy game. So a lot of the people that like play it spend a lot of time on it. They don't spend as much time outside interacting with people, you know. So it's kind of become like a bit. They are kind of not very good at like social interaction. They're weird, I guess, and I don't like using that because weird isn't inherently a bad thing, but they're weird. And that's something that I've known for a long time, and I kind of just joked about it with everyone else. But recently, as I've been getting back into the game, well, for one, I'm a lot older now. I'm not a child anymore, and I think I have a lot more awareness on, I have a lot more empathy than I did, um, and I have a lot more awareness on like how things can affect people, and like the fact that interactions with people don't just like they matter, right? Like people remember the things that you say. So these are things that I was very naive on back in the day, and what I think a lot of people are very naive on now. Um, but not only am I older, but I've also about 4 months ago started moderating on Twitch and Discord for a small Geometry Dash streamer. Her name is and so I've gotten a bit of more insight into like the actual effects that they can have on an individual, and like just like the way they treat women generally. Like even the more normal people, like a lot of the people that I would interact with her, I would consider normal in the sense that they're not being outwardly disrespectful, but there's always still something off about it. Like the conversations very rarely feel natural, and I think it's because this inherent belief among a lot of people in the community is that like women playing the game are a spectacle. You know what I mean? They should be treated as if they're like a unicorn or something. Like, because it's not something you see every day. And to be fair, it's not something you see every day. But I think the part of the reason there are so few girls in the community is because they don't really want to interact with the community, because they don't really want to get treated like that. Like even if you're being nice to them, it can almost come off as like patronizing in a way. Like one thing that I've seen a lot of, even more so than outward disrespect, and I'll get to that, but first, like the main thing that I see is patronizing and just like being condescending, as if she like just as if playing Geometry Dash is like genetically linked to being a guy. Like she like because she's a girl, she is like inherently less likely to have an understanding of how the game works, and she's fairly new to the game, so not all the advice she gets is like completely unfounded, but there's just a lot of like backseat gaming and just things that like I don't really think I would see a male streamer have to deal with. It's not that I've never seen it, but just not as common. It's like every single viewer is trying to you could say they're being helpful, but it more so comes off to me as like they're trying to be the hero, I guess. And I think that's more or less the best way that I could describe her chat on like a day-to-day basis. It's just like 20 people fighting to like be the hero, be the one that she remembers for like, helping her figure out the click or whatever. And it's just like I don't know, like I sometimes feel like I'm reading too far into it, but I also think I have a pretty good understanding of that kind of person because I used to be that kind of person. And that's like it's just like every little ounce of gratitude or like joy that she shows towards seeing them is like enforcing that idea. It's like it's like a parasocial relationship. Like a lot of her viewers, I think, maybe not a lot are that invested in it. I think, most of them are probably just trying to be helpful, but a decent amount of them I have noticed just acting as if like they know her. And a lot of them, or a lot of those people in specific, maybe even all of them, have shown like they're very well versed in like other female streamers that play the game. Like they don't really watch male streamers. Like they're always talking about, if they're talking about another streamer, they're always talking about another girl. It's like a smaller subsection of the community is like girl streamers, like Ace of Base or My Shallow, or I don't know if that's pronounced Michelle. I know her name is Michelle, but I've always pronounced her username as My Shallow. I don't know if that's correct or not. But point being, they all reside in that sort of subgroup, whether they like it or not, and they're all kind of getting like the same circulation of viewers, whether they like it or not. And I don't know if any of them do like it, but like, regardless of what their content is like or what their personalities are like, they're not really seen for their individuality. It's more just seen as like, these are the girl streamers, they're over here. These are the boy streamers, they're over here. And I think, I don't think that necessarily has that much of a negative impact on the streams themselves. Like usually these people are not the ones that are saying like super weird shit. But at the end of the day, it's still not a phenomenon that I really like. Like I don't like the fact that these people they have such a connection to these streamers just because they watch them. It's not really something I know how to deal with either, because I don't personally know any of these people. So, it's not like I can really like advise them as their friend or anything, but like I really wish they would just go outside and interact with real people, you know what I mean? Like I really think it would benefit a lot of the people that I'm going to be talking about in this video to just experience social interaction. Like I know that's scary, but like the fear is part of it. If there was no risk, there would be no reward. You have to go out and like put yourself out there and make that push, because that's what makes it so rewarding and fulfilling. And if you don't do that and you just spend your whole life in your room in the dark watching streamers and fantasizing about them being your girlfriend, like you're not going to be very satisfied in your life. And honestly, it's it's not going to make for a great sort of streaming experience for them. Like for me personally, again, they're not like the weirdest people that I've seen, but it does, I don't know. Sometimes they kind of take it over the line a little bit, where you can just tell that it's like, a little bit of their like idealized version of this person is slipping out, and it does make me a little bit uncomfortable to see it. But more than anything, it kind of just makes me sad. One particular person that I have in mind, that I'm not gonna say the name of, because I don't think that would help anyone, but they are kind of like a recurring viewer, so I do recognize them, and everything that they say is just so like impossible to respond to. Like it's like superficial interaction. Like they're trying to like force a conversation, but they don't really know necessarily what to talk about. And they've mentioned in the chat that they're a lot older. I think they were like in their mid to late 20s. I think he said he's like 26 or something. And is 18, and I am 19, and most of the mod team is also like in that area. So like, he's very much older than the average like person that he's interacting with. So I think he just kind of struggles to like find the right pocket for interaction. Like he just doesn't really know how to conversate, and he just only talks about very superficial things. A lot of it is like appearance based, and it's not like super weird, it's not necessarily sexual, but it is usually about her appearance. Like it could be about her hair or makeup or height or something. And like I don't know, maybe someone's making a joke about her height, and he comes in to defend her and be like, no, she's not that short. I think it's a fine height. It's like you just didn't really need to say that. You know what I mean? Like it's just very much white knighting. And like I don't want to use that term, because I don't like I don't like shaming people for defending women because that's like that's part of the problem. But it's not like, there's a time and a place, right? There's a time and a place to be the hero, and when you're being the hero, you shouldn't be the hero for the sake of being the hero. You should be the hero because it's the right thing to do. You know, like you shouldn't expect like a reward from it. And I don't know. I'm low key just like putting this whole personality on this guy that I don't really know that well, but yeah, that's just something that I've observed from a lot of people. Parasocial relationships, the way that they talk down to girls as if they're the sort of expert on Geometry Dash. They're like the GD scientist. They know everything, and they will try to give her like tutorials on like really simple parts. Like there was yesterday actually. There's this click in Through to Decay, which is an extreme demon. It's a black orb. It's like in the middle of the ship part. There's like a cube transition, and then you have to like click the black orb really fast. And there were like 7 different people that sent videos on how to do it, and we're trying to like give their own advice on how to do it. And like, I get wanting to be helpful, but I think she was a little bit overwhelmed by information in that moment, and like, what it felt like to me was just like a bunch of people fighting to be the center of attention. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't really have to be the center of attention. You don't have to say, you don't have to give advice that's already been given or that's already been tested. You really don't have to give advice at all. Like, you don't have to feel the need to do that, but they do. And I think it's like it's an instinctive thing. It's like an instinctive, response to seeing a girl playing the game. It's like it's a spectacle, and they don't treat them the same as they would a male, because that's more expected. They would treat a male as their equal, but a woman like she's an alien. And these aren't even the worst people by any means. This is just me talking about like the average chatter. Like, this is very much the bare minimum from what I've come to expect from someone being in our chat. Like, if you want to talk about like really weird people, Twitch honestly doesn't seem like that crazy. I've been told that the really crazy stuff usually happens more on like TikTok and Instagram, and definitely Twitter. But I don't think she's on Twitter personally. But if we just want to talk generally, like, Twitter is definitely one of the worst places to be. That applies to any community. But I mean, yeah, no, it really seems like Instagram and TikTok are where most of the weird comments are. Not that it's impossible to see them on Twitch, like people talking about, her starting an OnlyFans or whatever, or, one thing that I've seen like a lot of people saying is like, you the real whatever. Like, I guess that's like a trend nowadays. People saying you the real, and something Geometry Dash related, like you the real. Like, if she's playing 9 circles, like you're the real 9 circles. Like, I don't really know what that's from. Like, I'm sure it started somewhere. Like, maybe it was like from a song or something where he was like, girl, you're the real. So, I don't even fucking know. But it's some form of like flirting. I don't even know if people realize that that's what it means, but they just kind of say it without like really thinking about it. And I think that's like the main issue, is like the lack of thought and the lack of empathy in the messages. Like, I feel like a lot of them are kind of hard to respond to because they don't really think about what happens after they send it. They're just kind of like, I'm going to just say the craziest possible thing that I can, and then like, we'll just see what happens, I guess. Like, I know a lot of them are kids, so I guess I don't necessarily blame them. But like, I mean, not to say that nothing has to be done about it, but just the fact that they are kids, I guess they kind of lack the ability to think that far into the future. But yeah, no, if there's really no point in trying to flirt with a streamer, because she doesn't want you. Like, I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry that I have to be the messenger and be the one to tell you this, but it's just never gonna happen. Like, when you're talking to a streamer that you're talking to them online and they live like minimum 10 hours away from you in real life, like, it's just not gonna happen. Not to mention she's probably like 4 years older than you at least. So just like, you're not coming off as cute or charming or endearing when you do that. Like, it's never once made her laugh. It probably didn't even make her laugh the first time she saw it. Now it's been said like 10,000 times. It's just ridiculous. You're just being weird. There's no like, and this once again is not actually the weirdest part. Like I'm just talking about things that I see like on Twitch, and like I said, Twitch is, not really the worst place for it. If you want to talk about comments that make me like actually physically uncomfortable to read, you gotta look at these TikTok and Instagram comments under videos that she posts there. Like this one. This is a video of her cat playing Geometry Dash. And most of these are pretty normal, but this last guy says, I like to play with your cat. Which, if you don't know, cat is slang for vagina. So that was a pretty clever line there from him. Once again, though, there's just no point in saying it. Like, it's not funny. It's not making anyone laugh. And most importantly, it's just disrespectful to the creator. Like, that's something that, I just said it made me uncomfortable, and it's not even directed at me, So just like, I feel like I'm not asking for much to ask you to have some empathy and think about the impact that your words have on people. I don't think that most people lack empathy. I think they do have it. But the fact that a lot of social interaction happens online nowadays, it makes it harder to view the people you're talking to as real people. And that's kind of a problem, because every, username and profile picture that you see is representative of a real person, unless it's like an AI account or something. But whatever, don't worry about that. You can say whatever you want about AI accounts, but in terms of like real people that you're talking to, you have to think about the person that's behind the screen reading that whenever you are posting shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, it's just hard to do that nowadays. And I understand, like, I empathize with the fact that it is hard to do that as, someone that's like, a younger person that's on the internet nowadays, and you're just trying to fit in. And like, this is the thing that you see most people doing. Like, this is what's become normalized, and you like think that that's just what you're supposed to do, but it's not what you're supposed to do. You have to consider the fact that just because something is just because it's something a lot of people do doesn't mean it's okay. There are a lot of things in the world that you will have to use your own critical thinking on to be like, maybe the majority is actually wrong on this one. Some of the comments on this one are pretty good. So these are all under a video that she made after Popoff verified Society. And the caption says, "I can't believe me and W Popoff verified Society." So obviously an ironic video. If you don't get it, the joke is that W Popoff verified Society and Yuno did not, in fact, verify Society. So that's the entire joke. Not very deep, if you ask me. And I'm not saying you have to think that it's funny, but some of these comments are pretty ridiculous. Like, people calling her a pick-me, which is not something that I see very often. These two are kind of normal, but then this guy at the bottom says, "Of course, some people will agree with her because she's pretty. Grow up, kids." That is probably the most ironic comment I've ever seen, because he's obviously the only person that's treating her differently because she's pretty. Nobody's actually agreeing and saying that she actually beat it. Like, it's a joke. Like, nobody's looking at that and being like, wait, is Society a 2-player level? Like, they both did it? Well, I didn't realize that. Like, no, dude, it's not misinformation. It's just a joke. Like, relax. And then there's these people. I'm not even really sure what this top one even means, but somebody sent Zara Larpson, which actually kind of made me chuckle, I have to admit. But this guy said, "You can beat an extreme and still be a LARPer, by the way." And like, you might not necessarily see the misogyny in these, but I think that it's something that if you've been active in the community for long enough and you're kind of observant, I think you'll see the correlation between these types of comments and misogyny, because there are male players that make these same jokes. I made the same joke. As soon as he verified it, I went into like 10 different servers and was like, "Guys, I just verified Society. Like, it's out right now," And I bet nobody laughed, but nobody was like calling me a liar or like, morally judging me because of it, because that's stupid. But like, just the fact that she's a girl just makes it like easier to judge. And there's like one more screenshot here. This guy says, "Bro thinks he's on the team," with a picture of Tung 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 Sahur. Girl opinion doesn't count. poser, who's we. I think the who's we guy was just joking. Again, like, not all these comments are terrible, but like the ones that are just like, what's the point of calling her a poser? Like, are you genuinely taking that video seriously and the caption seriously? Like, you think she's trying to spread the idea that, like, that she actually beat it? It's just so dumb. Like, how dumb can you be? She ended up talking about this topic on stream last night, and she posted a clip of that where she basically just was asking, like, why people feel the need to be so disrespectful to her. And even that ended up getting hate comments. Some of the comments on that video are just so needlessly aggressive that it's kind of hard for me to believe that they're not rage bait. But I really hesitate to call anything on the internet that nowadays, because I feel like it kind of downplays it. Just because something is rage bait doesn't mean that it's like not a big deal, or that it's just like fine. Like, that's just an excuse. Like, oh, you fell for the bait, so they win. Like, you're in the wrong now. That's not really how it works. But I don't know. I can't really come up with an explanation for why someone would be talking like this for this little reason. Like, this guy says, because all you do is engagement bait. Notice how other GD players get significantly less hate than you, because they don't fucking engagement bait all the time. Oh, W Pop-Up and me verified society. You are actively trying to annoy people to get clicks. So yeah, no fucking wonder. Why are you complaining? Engagement bait is a term that I see a lot, and I feel like people don't really understand what it actually means. Like, I think it can be used in criticism effectively if you use it right. But a lot of people will just call anything engagement bait, and it's like there's something really inherently wrong with engagement bait. I mean, that's kind of the part of being a content creator, is getting engagement with your content. So, like, getting people to click on your shit is not inherently a bad thing. I think the term engagement bait should be reserved for, like, or like the term clickbait is, I think people just say engagement bait to, like, sound intellectual when they really just mean clickbait, but they basically mean the same thing. And I think that those terms should really only be reserved for things that are, like, insincere. Like, if you make a thumbnail that's not in the video, or you make a title that describes something that doesn't happen in the video, like, that's what I would consider bait, because it's like, it's not genuine. You're tricking someone into engaging with your content. If you're just making content that's, likely to be engaged with, that's just called being a good content creator. That's not, like, there's something wrong with that, right? And I don't know. I think maybe, if not rage bait, this probably stems from, like, jealousy or something. But honestly, I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. There's another comment underneath that, because she responds, says, take a joke, hope this helps. And he says, right, but you made the same joke multiple times already. It's engagement baiting. Your entire career is about as lopsided as your lip filler. Hope that helps. That was kind of a mic drop moment at the end there. It was kind of boom. Like, you really got her with that one. I'm not sure I really understand what someone's career being lopsided means. Like, maybe that's just me not really following the joke there. I kind of went over my head. But yeah, no, obviously the lip filler comment is kind of enough proof, to me at least, that it's about misogyny, because I really do not see male creators getting insulted for their appearance like that. Not that it never happens at all. Like, I'm not trying to downplay it if it does happen, but I'm just saying, I think that it's something, that's more common against women, because it's almost like their appearance is like an intrinsic, like, it's more of a factor. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's appearance is an intrinsic part of them. Like, it's a trait, but it's not really as much of a factor in men. So I think when people are trying to rage bait women, their appearance is something they talk about, because they think it's like, superficial things, like, kind of all they care about. Like, girls only care about shopping and makeup, so I'm going to insult their makeup. Like, I don't know. I honestly think that that's just what it is. Like, I think this is just rage bait. I have one more comment here. I don't really know what video this is under, but I don't think it really matters. It's probably not related. It just says, can you show me your hitboxes in layout mode? This is one that I honestly think could not have more perfectly exemplified what I was talking about, where they just don't think. They just see an opportunity to say something, and they say it without even thinking about it. Because, like, if you really take the time to sort of dissect that line, what does that actually mean? Can you show me your hitboxes in layout mode? If he just said, can you show me your hitboxes, maybe that would make sense. Or if he just said, can you go into layout mode or something, maybe that would make sense. But when you say both, it's just like, Just like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, what does that mean? What does it mean specifically? If you were asked, like, what exactly do you want me to do? What would you say? I don't know. I just think it's really unfortunate that a lot of conversations on the internet nowadays are dominated by, like, comments that aren't really a conversation. They're not really meant to engage or facilitate conversation. They're not supposed to be replied to at all. They're just not thought about at all. Like, people just say whatever comes to their mind immediately. And a lot of it is like, it's not really a surprise that it would result in people being made uncomfortable from that if you just don't think about what you're saying. I mean, I understand that some people have like edgy sense of humor. And if you and your friend group have an edgy sense of humor and you like to make jokes like that with each other, that's one thing. But when you're going out and talking to people outside of that group, you have to understand, like, you have to have some semblance of like awareness for social cues. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be saying anything. You have to read the room a little bit, and you have to, like, I mean, if it's just a video and you have no ability to read the room, then you should probably just avoid being edgy altogether, because it's very disrespectful and it has a real impact on the person that you're talking to. And it's like, I can't imagine that many people are happy about that. Like, are you happy about that? If anyone is watching this right now that makes comments like these on women that play the game, like, are you proud of yourself? Like, are you happy with the difference that you've made? You've made people, like, feel from slightly uncomfortable to, like, very uncomfortable with your comments. Like, that's the effect that you have on the world right now. And I can already see where people are going to disagree with me on this. They're probably just going to say that I'm reading too far into it or taking it too seriously. Like, it's just jokes. The jokes don't really matter. They don't really care that much. But I really would urge you to consider the fact that I'm right and that they actually do matter and they are not seen as funny. Perfect example of this, Oddmod, the creator of Ashley Wave Trials. That level was made years ago. And at the time, I think it was harder than what the top one was by a pretty notable margin. So it was kind of just like an impossible level. It wasn't ever planned to be verified. And again, this is like 4 years ago. She made a joking tweet like, I would go on a date with whoever ends up verifying it. Again, I don't think she actually intended it to ever get verified. And to this day, people are still milking that tweet as if she is, like, still okay with it or still, like, on board with it, when she's clearly not. She's stated multiple times that she's not, and I have proof of this. I have 3 screenshots from Discord here. I'm not actually sure what server this is from. I'm also not sure who the deleted user is, but I do know that this is a real conversation that happened. So just for context, the user Ashley6 is Oddmod, and the other people named Ashley are just her friends, I guess. I don't know why they're named Ashley, but yeah, Ashley6 is the actual Oddmod. So if you look at the screenshot here, the deleted user pings Oddmod and says, do you have pink hair? And then proceeds to ping her multiple times again. How does your voice sound? Like an anime voice, like a cute voice? Why have you never revealed your face or even your voice? What is your hair color? And then one of her friends is sticking up for her here and just saying, like, it's people like you, that's why she doesn't want to reveal stuff like this. Like, literally telling them to their face that they're being creepy and their presence is not appreciated. Like, if you don't see what's wrong with these messages, I think there's something wrong with you. Like, this is inherently very, very creepy. And then there's the other message here, the other screenshot. It says, did you actually have a baby girl named Sakupin Circles? I have no fucking idea what that even means, but it's definitely weird. She says she's gonna have to ban him. He says, do you like your hair? Talking a lot about her hair. This is kind of like what I was talking about before, where it's like super appearance-based things, just like constantly talking about their appearance. This tonally does come off a lot weirder as a lot of the stuff I've seen on Twitch, but it is conceptually the same thing. Like, this is how you come across if you're just, any conversation you have with a girl is just only talking about her appearance. Even if you don't think it's weird because you're not being outwardly sexual, it can still very much come off as weird. Like, look at this conversation for an example. Anyway, she says she hates people like this. He asks more about her hair. And then this last screenshot here, he says, what is your hair color again? And she just says, kill yourself. Like, she clearly does not like being talked to like this. And then, I know those weren't directly related to the whole Ashley Wave Trials joke, but if you want to talk about that, there's these screenshots from Twitter where Nind says, Nind is a really cool person, by the way. She has progress on Nullscapes. Check her out. But anyway, she says this is really fucking weird, and it's an image of Zoink playing Heartbeat. He's alternate spamming, and the caption is like, "Bro, Oddmod is missing out." So obviously the joke there is that he's like, his fingers are moving really quickly, so he could like finger her or something. It's ridiculous. But anyway, she says, I may or may not have already quit GD 3 years ago because of this joke. And then in this same thread, she says it has been complete hell in reference to her time in the community, I'm assuming. And this last one simply says that tweet was 4 years ago. It was only funny for the first 12 hours. I'm already in a relationship. Please let this joke stop. I believe she is in a relationship with a woman, by the way, so she's not even straight. But yeah, no, just literally begging you to stop making these jokes. And I know that not everyone making those jokes has seen these. There's no doubt in my mind that most people that make jokes like that genuinely just don't know the effects that it's having on her as a person. But if you do, if you are aware of the things that she said, and you are continuing to make jokes like that, you are a bad person, and I hope you know that. But to anyone that's normal watching this, that just genuinely was not aware that she said those things, or they've been misinformed about how she feels about the jokes, and this is just their first time hearing about this, the right thing to do right now would be to, in the future, if you see people making jokes like that, bring that to their attention. Tell them how she feels about those jokes and that they are in the wrong for making those jokes and they need to stop, right? How they respond to that is not really on you, but the least that you can do right now is to spread awareness and to sort of break the normalization of it, because that's really the main issue, is the normalization. Like, it's become such a normal thing to see in the community. Nobody really wants to like stand up against it anymore, because even if you do see the issue with it, it's like standing up against a whole city of people. You know what I mean? Like, you're just not going to win that fight. Like, you're just not. So I understand why it would be scary to do that, but I hope that you understand that you have to do it anyway. It's your responsibility to stand up for the people around you that need you to. I think it's really unfortunate that avoiding controversy nowadays is seen as preferable to standing up for people that need people to stand up for them. And that's how people like Purell get to the level of popularity that they're at. Nobody wants to stand up to him and call him out, even when he misgenders Paco or wears a MAGA hat during his stream. Like, that guy's a shitty person. He shouldn't be allowed in the community, but people do because they're too scared to say anything. They don't want that like backlash from it. And I get that, but like, ultimately, I just wish people would value doing the right thing over keeping their viewers. You know what I mean? I feel like they wouldn't even lose that many viewers, but I don't know. I guess I'm not an expert on it. Either way, whether you're a popular creator or not, if you see someone doing something like this, you need to stand up to them and stop them from doing that, or at least try, because it's not really helping just to agree that what they're doing is wrong. If you see a woman getting harassed and you think to yourself, wow, that's fucked up, or if you go up to her after he leaves and you're like, are you okay? That might seem like it's being helpful, but what would really be helpful is if you actually stopped them from doing it in the first place. Because at the end of the day, they're just going to go do it again if they face no consequences for their actions. They need to start facing consequences for their actions. We need to start exiling people like this out of the community, not letting them interact with us, not letting them be friends with us. Because if you are willingly being friends with someone that talks like this, you're condoning their actions. You are condoning their beliefs, and you're continuing to keep misogyny normalized. And it doesn't just apply to misogyny either. Like, a lot of content creators face disrespect for a lot of different reasons. A lot of the time, they're not really treated like people. I do think, though, when it comes to disrespect towards content creators, women do face a sort of unique type of it, because they don't really get the chance to have individuality. You know what I mean? Because they're not criticized for their personalities or their actions. Like, the people that do this can take one look at them and already decide what their comment is going to be, regardless of what their content is like. And that's just not okay. It's not okay. And I want to make it very clear that not only is it not okay to make comments like that, it's not okay to associate yourself with people that make comments like that. And this is something that I learned very recently. I have this friend who is not associated with the Geometry Dash community at all. But he consistently makes very weird jokes about women, racist jokes, homophobic, transphobic jokes. And I've let it slide for a long time, admittedly, because I was afraid. Well, I kind of convinced myself there's nothing I could do to fix it. If I call him out on it, he would just think I'm being a pussy, and it wouldn't really change anything anyway. So why lose a friend? But something that I've realized very recently is that I am part of the problem by doing that. And I hope that someone watching this can relate to that and have that epiphany the same way that I did. If you are not calling people out on their bullshit, you are supporting their bullshit. You're enforcing the idea in their head that it's okay. It's at least okay around you, right? And it's not. It's not okay even in private. Even if they're just talking in a group chat, like, oh, locker room talk or whatever. That's not okay. So hopefully someone watching this is taking this to heart. And the next time you see someone talking about a woman like that, you stand up to them and say, dude, shut the fuck up. She's a person. She has emotions, and your words have meaning to her. So you really cannot be talking about her like that. If you keep talking about her like that, I'm not going to fuck with you anymore. And stick to that. If they keep talking about them like that, don't fuck with them anymore. It's really hard, I know, but it's just the right thing to do. One last thing that I want to talk about in this video is the treatment of trans women in the Geometry Dash community. It is completely unacceptable as well. Some of y'all's comments on trans women are just disgusting, and they infuriate me to see. I saw this video the other day. It was just a YouTube short. It was about like who's the best girl Geometry Dash player, right? Very simple. The number one player, I think they said, was Total GD or was Pico or someone, both trans women, whatever. They're women. Trans women are women. And at least in the context of Geometry Dash, there's really no need to separate them from biological women. Like, I could maybe understand if you're talking about a sport or something where, like, they would have their biological differences would actually have an impact, but there's no biological difference that has an impact on Geometry Dash. So if you are feeling the need to, like, be like, okay, so who's the actual best female Geometry Dash player? Like, you said men, right? That's not okay. You're not a good person, and you're not just, like, looking for a fun fact. You're actively disrespecting someone's identity, and that can have real effects on them. And, like, I can kind of understand if you just wanted to know, like, as a fun fact, like, who's the best biologically female Geometry Dash player. But those are not really the people that I'm talking about. It's really people that are going out of their way to disrespect trans women, just basically for being included in the video. Like, they didn't even do anything wrong. They're just existing as trans women. But then because someone put them in a video, they have to say all these hurtful things about them, like that they're not really women or that they shouldn't be included in this list. And I saw one that really stood out to me. I wish I screenshotted it because I'm not going to be able to find the video. But it said something like, I genuinely wonder if Zoink came out as trans, like, tomorrow, would everyone just decide that the best Geometry Dash player is female? And that comment really stood out to me because the answer is literally yes. If Zoink or anyone else came out as trans at any period of time, we would respect their identity because that's what the fuck you do. And that should really not be an outlandish concept to you. I mean, it might come as a surprise. It's fine if it comes as a surprise. Like, example, Nswish was gone from the community for a while. She was previously a top player, and she hadn't transitioned yet when she was still in the community. And when she came back and did the Vernosis interview, and I heard her voice, and I heard him referring to her with she, her pronouns, I was surprised because I didn't realize that yet. But my response wasn't just to be like, no, she's not a girl, what? It was to be like, wow, I didn't know that she was a girl. So, like, I don't understand why that's such a hard, like, you know, like, it can be unexpected, but that doesn't just mean that you can just not respect it just because you don't want it to be true, right? And the only reason you would not want it to be true is if you're transphobic anyway. So just, like, fuck off. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I'm sure there's much more to be said about this, but that's all that I have to say right now. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video. I hope that this had a positive impact. I hope that, you know, somebody that needs to see this sees this and it actually has an effect on them that is positive. But I guess I can only hope. So, see ya.